2, 1. We're back to Neil Haley's show, and I'm excited to welcome to the show today Adam Finberg. We're going to talk about star people. Adam, thanks for stopping by. How are you?
I'm great, Neil. How are you doing today?
So, I'm doing fantastic. So, tell me how this project started for you.
How it started? It started when I decided to take another swing at making a narrative feature film. I had some false starts in my early career, and I started working on this script, and I knew I had to get it made, and I just didn't let up, I guess you could say.
And that's the key thing, especially in this industry, to never give up, keep going.
Yeah. I was in the American Film Institute. I graduated in '04, and I had some false starts that just didn't work out. And I found work in the editing world for many years, working with some great people in the TV land. But I always had wanted to return to narrative filmmaking. And so that was just something I just didn't quite let go of, I guess you could say.
All right. And you pick this film definitely speaks to an audience, right? Especially what's happening with just talking about UFOs and how we've talked about UFOs for years and years upon end, right?
Y- UFOs, the idea of UFOs has persisted in the modern era ever since the Roswell days, the idea of aliens and ETs, and it's become this popular culture phenomenon with how Hollywood's portrayed it through the years, sometimes leading to the good, sometimes to the not so good. But ideas of the unknown has always been, I think, a real catch, grab you subject that I've always been interested in.
So tell me the premise of the film.
The premise of the film, it's about a photographer who is obsessed with solving a childhood UFO experience, who is confronted with a deadly heat wave, her troubled brother, and a migraine crisis, forcing her to reconnect with what matters most in her life.
And basically, that's a great way to look at the character throughout how she develops into why she's doing it now, right?
Yeah, you mean why the story is
Yeah,
ending with.
no, her like journey, seeing that journey from a child to now what her obsession is and what she's trying to find out.
Yeah, I mean, her and her brother, the characters Taylor and Claire, are two sides of the same coin. They both had the same shared childhood trauma, but they both dealt with it in different ways, I guess you could say. She became obsessed with this sighting that she had as a child, and he went down a substance abuse path to deal with their past.
And you see those specifically, those two characters align together in ways, even though they're different, their similarity is their family life, bringing it back.
Yeah, I mean, it's about human connection at the end of the day. That is the core of the story, and they've both been isolated from any sort of familial connection or anyone that really cared about them, and that is how during the story, their growth, their arc is about them reconnecting and finding meaning again.
We see a lot of times, Adam, is that whole process of specifically enough childhood trauma, rediscovering yourself, and growth throughout your life. I think we all see that in so many ways, and that's how we can reflect and look at certain characters and really have that feeling from them in the way on the screen.
Yeah, absolutely. The most powerful stories are always about growth. If there's not characters growing and changing or learning and struggling, then you're probably not going to be compelled by what you're watching.
Why do we see a lot of times where people say we can't change, we can't grow, Adam? Is that just the negative? Is that the looking at the glass half full instead half empty instead of half full?
It's because change is hard. Change is hard. A wise man once actually told me that there can be no growth without suffering. So suffering, unfortunately, can come with growth, that we have to sometimes do something uncomfortable in order to grow.
We have to have pain, right?
Sometimes
We're going to do something
emotional pain or
amazing, if it's physical or emotional. If we're going to do something, but also if we're going to do something self-fulfilling, we're going to have to go through a lot of pain to reach our ultimate goal. It's not going to be easy.
no. And I think anyone who accomplishes anything or does something meaningful will, if they didn't have the struggle, it wouldn't have the meaning. And that's why the idea of things being given to you have no meaning, because you didn't have to endure that struggle. You don't feel the growth.
What do you want to say to people that try to avoid those things? they're missing out in life. Because again, Adam, you talked about how you hustled to make sure that this film would happen, meaning your hard work, looking at specifically enough, I'm going to make sure the story happens, and how you've done that in your career is something to show people you got to put the work in, and you also got to put in and believe in yourself at the end of the day.
Sometimes that's the hardest part of the process is having believing in yourself, but having someone else that believes in you can actually go a long way as well. I would say that when you feel that uncomfortableness, when you have something that almost feels like fear, often that's the tickling of growth. I guess you could say that you're doing something that is changing yourself. It's not going to be comfortable. And when I started this process, to get this film made, honestly, this has got to be the most physically challenging ordeal that I went through. Getting this film done, finished, it was a small feat. So just from a physical standpoint too.
See, and the physical, but it feels good. And then once it's released, and the release date's coming, so that's
It is.
that's the big thing that makes you feel good, right? It's coming.
I'm very excited. Yeah, we had a premiere. We had our world premiere at a Dance of the Films, was the first public screening of it, but the release is coming up this Friday. But the first time having an audience watch is very exciting for everyone involved. There was a big team of people that worked on this film and struggled with me to get it made.
And that's the thank you. And is that what? And then after it comes out, it's what's next, right? That's the fun part. See, for me, and as an interviewer, it's who's next, or as an entrepreneur, who's next to clients. There's always a who's next, and how do we relish this success, thank ourselves for it, and then move forward and to the next day. That's the challenge of life.
It is, and I'm working on the what's next every day. I don't expect any sort of magical offering or direct marketing to come in and give me my next. I'm going to have to hustle the next thing as well, but I'm excited for what's next. Absolutely.
All right. Best place, again, it premieres in theaters on July 25th, but where's the best place people can check you out and stuff? And check out
The film, and then it will be available on VOD August 12th. It'll be available nationwide to rent, no matter where you are. But it will be in New York and in Phoenix on July 25th in theaters. It'll be in LA in theaters on August 8th, and then August 12th on video on demand.
that's fantastic. And that's excitement. And then the what's next. But people check it out, but they can go to the website, right? Check it out. Check out this place.
Yeah, there's information about the film on our Facebook page. If you just go to starpeoplefilm.com, it'll take you to our Facebook page and our Instagram links on there as well.
All right. Thanks a lot, Adam. Appreciate it, sir.
Thanks, Neil.
All right. You're welcome. You're listening and watching The Neil Haley